So he said to me rather impolitely that to pay $50,000 for a book that the author of which nobody had ever heard of was crazy. And was I crazy? No, I said I wasn't crazy at all. He was the crazy one.
Today we're going to talk about the actual process of hiring an industry pro. Let's start with the amount of money. Again, as I said in the previous episode, I tended to pay people between $35 an hour and $75 an hour. The majority of most of my industry pros were being paid at the rate of $50 an hour, and that seemed to fit in very well with what their needs were, and without bankrupting the system by going after a quote-unquote star. So let's talk about the actual process of hiring an industry pro. This is going to be specific to the Los Angeles Community College District, because every district, every college, in fact, will have its own hiring protocols. And the Los Angeles Community College District had at least the benefit of being common to 9 different schools. So there were basically 2 ways of hiring someone who would be an industry pro. The first was in the category of a trainer-presenter. And I believe the code for that was an 8141 or an 8151. An industry trainer-presenter is someone who teaches specifically workshops, and that can include in-class guest appearances. The way you hire those people is by filling in a form that the district has available online. And what you do is you define what the workshop is, you define how many sessions it has, you define what the hourly rate is, and you give it a title. After that, you fill in what the industry pro's actual education is. Do they have an AA? If they have an AA degree, the district really needs them to have had approximately 6 years of experience. This is actually the same thing that they would need for a full-time hire. They don't necessarily have to have that, but trust me, it is much easier if you have that in advance. It just makes life simpler. If they have a BA, it would require them to have 2 years in the industry in that particular category. And if they're going to go for a teaching gig, which many times these industry pros are ultimately interested in doing at some point, if they have an advanced degree, it's helpful. Now, let's talk about Valley College in particular, because Valley College had 2 different types of instructors in their adjunct ranks. One of them was for their broadcasting and media arts classes. Those did not require a master's degree. But for Valley College to do a full-time hire, they preferred everyone to have a master's degree. Oh, sorry about that. Simply because if you have a master's degree, you can then teach cinema classes. And cinema classes are vitally important to have a master's, simply because those classes articulate to 4 years, whether it be a CSU, a UC, or a private institution. And if you don't have those minimum qualifications, it is possible for those articulation agreements to not work. So, if you want to teach in cinema, if you want your industry pro to perhaps eventually be a teacher in cinema, please hope that they have a master's, because it just makes life easier. Nevertheless, for the workshops, for the guest speaking, for that, it's not necessary that they have any degree at all, but it is, again, helpful from the perspective of the district doing the hire. And this is, again, for the trainer presenters. Trainer presenters top out at $65 an hour. There is another category that is slightly more advanced, and this is better if you hire someone under this, but it is, again, a little bit more of a challenge because it's more paperwork, and this is a professional expert. The difference between a professional expert and a trainer presenter is that a professional expert can not only teach in a workshop, in a class, and in a boot camp, but can also help you with curriculum. So let's say that you're doing a curriculum revision. Not only can someone come in and impress your students with their genius at describing the career path that comes out of just this class that they've been taking, but they can help you in your annual program review to maybe do a revision of the class, to maybe make it more updated. Now, again, curriculum takes a lot longer than to push through than a workshop, which is one of the reasons why workshops are often great for filling in that gap. But if you have a professional expert, they can help you work that curriculum. They can help you do a new course outline or develop a new program. I prefer to do the professional expert, even though it is a little bit more of a challenge. In the box below, in the description below, you will see that I have a link, and that is for our the Los Angeles Valley College or the Los Angeles Community College District Professional Expert Request Form. The process of getting the professional expert or the trainer presenter through is to fill in the online for the trainer presenter or submit the professional expert form along with the instructor or the potential instructor's resume, which may or may not be required for a trainer presenter. It is required for a professional expert, and submit it. I would strongly suggest submitting an entire batch of professional expert or trainer presenters about a month before the semester starts. Yes, that means you're doing something in the summer or during the winter session, but it sometimes takes a while to push through new hires. So please, please do not submit a form to have someone hired to be a guest speaker or to do a workshop the week before they're going to do the workshop. The district, the LACCD, severely frowns on you having someone do work before they have been okayed to teach. In fact, they can say, no, we don't approve of this. So do not run that risk. Do not run that risk that you have someone who's an industry pro that you've promised to pay and now you can't pay them, or you're going to have to pay them 3 months down the road because it took there was a delay in processing the paperwork. Please, please, please do this in advance. And I'm going to say this again. Please don't rely on them doing it out of the goodness of their heart. People will do a guest speaker once or twice. Please don't continually ask, because it really isn't fair. You are taking their time, and yes, they are trying to give back, but you want to have them be with you for a long-term relationship, not just for this year. So again, this is something that can be a little bit challenging, but please, let's summarize this one. As a trainer presenter, please fill in that form online. Give at least a month in advance. For a professional expert who can be someone who might be able to help you with curriculum development, you're going to need a copy of their resume, and you're going to need the other paperwork, the form that again is attached below.
Sidney Howard was the best dramatist of that particular period. But it was a very, very difficult assignment. It took time. It really took time. And Mr. Selznick wasn't always the most patient man that one ever worked for.